welcome to my channel. My name is Chrissy, and it is time for me to go ahead and segue into one of the reasons why I created this channel. As most of you probably already know, or if you don't, I am a dental student. I am in my 4th year at the moment, so I will be graduating in May. But one of the reasons why I created this channel was to talk to people about my journey throughout dental school and all the things in between. So let's backtrack a little bit. So before I went to dental school, I went to Lincoln University in Pennsylvania for my undergrad. Now, when I was there, it's so funny talking about it now because I feel like when I was an undergrad, I knew I wanted to be a dentist, but I didn't do anything dentist related. So what I did was I did a post-bac program where they introduced you to the field of dentistry. Like, you were taking classes on a dental school level, and you take, I believe it was 2 classes. It was microbiology and biochem, and then you're shadowing like their dental students, and then at the end of the program they write you like a letter of recommendation. Now, I am not going to name this post-bac program. That's not my intentions. I'm not trying to make it seem like if like I'm bashing any program or school in particular, but like, you know, it really hurt me at the time when it happened because I was just kind of like, I really just felt like they killed my dreams. So, but before I get into all of that, let's backtrack a little bit. I didn't do anything dental related. Like, I didn't shadow a dentist. I barely even knew dentists outside of like my own personal dentist that I went to. Like, I was just a mess. I was like, you know what, Chrissy, it's time to get your life together. So that's what I was getting ready to do. So I joined this, I applied for this post-bac program. I believe at the time they only took about 10 to 15 people. Like, it was like that competitive. But this post-bac program is not like your typical post-bac programs because of like, 1, it was only for the summertime. I think it was like a 2-3 month program. 2, they gave me a stipend that covered like my housing to like, you know, stay on their campus. And 3, this program actually wrote you a letter of recommendation that you can use for your application for when you apply to dental school, right? So now, like, to anybody who was like myself at the time, this is like gold mine. It's like you would want to do this program. So I went ahead and I applied. I was a 4th year at Lincoln, and I believe the application cycle opened up in like February or whatever. So I went ahead and I applied. It was very competitive, like I said before. Like, they were asking for like all of these letters of recommendations. I had to write all of these essays. I had to say why I should be picked for this particular post-bac program. So I went ahead and I did all of that, and then by God's grace, I was able to get it. Thank God, right? So I was like so excited about it. Like, I feel like my advisor at the time, he was so excited about it. They were like, you know, like, this is great. Like, we're so proud of you. And I was just like, you know, like, I was getting all of the positive feedback from my undergrad, which is what you would want because this is your career. Like, you don't want to play around with it, you know? So it's just kind of like, all right, you know, like, I was like a little slow, like, I mean, absolutely slow. Like, I did not study for the DATs. Like, when I tell y'all I did nothing dental related, it's like, how in your mind were you planning on going to dental school if you didn't do half of the things that you needed to do? So thank God I was able to get into the program. The program, I believe it started in May. So like I said before, like, this particular program, like, they introduce you to the field of dentistry. Like, it was actually within a dental school. So you're taking the classes. Like, we took 2 classes. We shadowed their dental students. We observed and assisted. I'm not sure if they let us assist. And we did like very like introductory things. Like, we had like a semi-dental anatomy / simulation lab course that we did, where it was like they gave us this figure. It was like in the shape of a block, I think, and we had to carve out a tooth. So like, for those of you who are in dental school, of course, you know, like, your 1st year of dental school, you have this dental anatomy class where they give you something to carve out a tooth. Pretty standard, right? So like, we're all excited about it. Like, we're going in there, we're in the lab. They had like a simulation lab. Like, it looked awesome. It was top of the line. It was awesome. I want to say almost a month into this program, and like, you know, like, we've already taken like a few exams. We took quizzes already, and like, they paired us up with I think at the time they were 2nd years, or like they were just going into their 2nd year of dental school. They paired us up with like these like mentors who like watches and like guides over us, and like who would tell us like, hey, you know, since you're here in the area, like, if you're gonna go out to eat, these are the places that like you should go to eat, or check out this place and that place. So like, we were at that point of the program where it's like, I guess now they like evaluate you. And pretty much they base it off of your grades that you made while you were doing this program. They base it off of your interaction with the mentors and what their feedback was. And I think overall, like they'll just go ahead and like recommend to say like, all right, we think you're fit for dental school. Here's our letter of recommendation for you. So now everybody went like I think they did it in like alphabetical order. It's crazy how in my mind like it feels like it was just yesterday, but this happens. We're in 2017 now. This happened in 2011 because that's like when I was like that happened the year of like when I was supposed to be graduating from Lincoln. So they called me in, like they were like going over everything, and then like we went over the grades. I got an A in both of the classes, thank God. Like I performed well in like all of the areas that they needed me to. So I'm like, okay, like I wasn't like fully confident, but I was like, you know what, like I feel secure enough because I'm just saying to myself, like, like I performed well, I did what I was supposed to do, I delivered, and I brought my A game because like I said, like I knew I wanted to be a dentist, but I didn't do anything dental related. So I'm like, this is your chance to prove yourself and for you to go ahead and move forward to your goals, right? So I went in there and I was talking to the lady, and I was just like, yeah, it's like I'm just like waiting for her to say like, yes, we do recommend that you go into dental school. Here's your letter. I go in there, she goes down like my grades and she goes down all of the reports and everything like that. And she said, oh, like, you did well. So at the very end of her list, she was like, I just don't think you're fit to be a dentist. What? Like, I don't know, like my whole body was like numb, like inside out numb. Like I feel like I didn't even have a chance to cry because I was just like, my emotions, everything just went numb, like completely numb. And I was just like I heard what she said, but it legitimately took me at least 15 to 30 seconds to process what she said. I'm just like, wait, excuse me? I'm smiling about it now, but like, I feel like I had to like step away and like bring it back, Chrissy, like bring it back. It's okay. Like you're here now, But like I was so distraught, and I remember asking her, I was like, oh, thank you so much for your feedback. And I was like so receptive yet hurt at the same time, if that makes sense. It's almost like if somebody give you constructive criticism where it's like, okay, like you're trying your best to receive it, but in your heart you're just like, you're devastated, So I asked her, I was just like, may I ask why, or like what could I have done better? And she was just like, I just don't feel like you're cut out to be a dental student. And I'm like, why? Like I got the grades, like I interacted well with everyone, like I did everything that was asked of me. And she was just like, it's just something about you that doesn't scream that like you're a leader. We've been together for all of like a month and a half, like, so you may not have known me on that level, but I was just like, I didn't say this, of course not, but in my mind I'm just like, how could I have proved myself to her? So I took it for what it was, and I went home, and I remember just like I don't know if I went home or the bathroom, or I went somewhere, and like I was like bawling my eyes out. The one pointer that she did tell me was the fact of like most dental schools are like asking for you to take these classes. So she did leave me with like a snack bite. She said, if anything, if you want to make your application, I guess, stronger, she was telling me to go ahead and apply for these classes. Now keep in mind, like I'm not, by any means, I am not saying this to like brag or anything like that, but like I remember having a strong enough GPA coming out of Lincoln, my undergrad school, and the only thing that she probably would encourage me on was to hurry up and study and take my DATs, because at the time I did not take it. So in my mind, I'm like, what else could I have done to make my application stronger? Like I studied abroad, I was in several leadership programs, I did research, not because of like, I know some people will say like, oh, like do these things as like a buffer to your application. I genuinely enjoyed research because of the fact of like, it sounds kind of silly, but I feel like when I watch Law and Order and like CSI detective type work, in my mind, I was just like, I'm gonna be a forensic dentist. Like, this is so cool. Like, so I genuinely enjoyed research. Like, I was more like my main focus of research was like genetics. Like I feel like if I were to ask somebody else, like, hey, can you critique my application? Can you critique my like resume and everything like that? Everyone who I asked who had the position to tell me so, they told me like I was a very strong applicant. So in my mind, I was like, what is it exactly? Like, why am I not good enough to you? Like, what do I have to do to prove to you that I am, I guess, good enough to be a dental student applicant? I tried to ask her as many questions as possible because I'm like, this is my career. Like, this is something that like I knew I wanted to do. So I was very like receptive, but like at the same time, I just remember being so confused because she said like it was just her like instinct that she didn't think I was a good enough applicant to be a dental student. She said that I needed to make my application stronger. Meanwhile, I've spoken to like other like dental school directors and I showed them like my application and then they were like, what are you waiting for? Go ahead and apply. Like, you're a good applicant. So the fact of like, I was hearing the complete opposite from this one person. I was just like, I don't know what to do with this. It deterred me in a sense because I started challenging everything. I was like, am I good enough to do this? Like, what if I get in and then I struggle? You know what I mean? So, what I did was I did take her one advice. She was saying like, I guess to make yourself a stronger applicant, she recommended that I take microbio and biochem because I didn't take it mainly because I was studying abroad when it was being offered at my school. So I went ahead and I did that. I did that fall semester of 2011. Now, for those of you who know, like, or anybody who applied to dental school, you know that the cycle opens 1 year in advance. So if it's already the end of the fall semester, it was kind of like you should have already applied in that August. So in my mind, I'm like, well, it's too late. That's fine. So what I ended up doing was that was the end of the fall semester. That January, February, like I went and I started working because I'm like, well, the cycle opens back up. I believe it opens up, don't quote me on this, but I believe it opens up in like May or June. And then you have like, they recommend that you submit it anywhere in that summer time frame. So I guess in like August, you should be submitting your application for dental school. So I just took those 6 months to just like, go ahead and work. I'm fresh out of school and it's like I have these debt that I have to like now start paying off because it's already been the 6 months and y'all know how Sally Mae is. Knocking at your door. I submitted my app. I remember if it wasn't like that August time frame, I submitted my app and it was weird though because I was working full time. So what ended up happening was I went ahead, I submitted my app in like August, but I didn't take my DATs until that December. Like, that was just something else. I was like, Chrissy, you need to get it together. Like, like you want to be a dentist, you need to be studying for these DATs, but then I was working full time and it's like, something's got to give here. Like, you want to be a dentist or you want to work? I want to be a dentist, So I was just like, all right. So I ended up having to change my hours at my job where it was like I was no longer working full time. I had to work part time just so that I can dedicate more time to study for the DATs. So thankfully, thank God, I studied for the DATs and I took it that December of 2012. And that January, I started getting interviews. Thank you, God, is all I can say because I was just saying to myself, like, even though like I was going through the motions of like, going ahead and like applying for dental school and doing everything that was asked of me, like that conversation that I had with the person who was at the post-bac program, it just kept resonating in my mind. Like, it's like engraved in my mind. Like, I could not think about it. Like, I was just like, man, what if I apply? What if I don't get an interview? What if I don't get in? Like, it was just so many different things going through my mind. And I'm just like, like I'm like going through the motions, but like mentally, I'm just like, oh my God, like what if she was right? Like, oh my God, what if I don't get it? Like what, like I was just going crazy, okay? Thankfully, of those 6 or 7, I got interviews for 3 different schools and then I ended up picking one. So thank God for this moment. Thank God that I am here. I'm glad I was courageous enough to receive what was being told to me, although it devastated me. I'm just glad that like I was able to find that inner strength within me that said, you know what, Chrissy, you know you want this, you need to do whatever you can to go ahead and get it. So the purpose of this video is to encourage whoever is applying to dental school, med school, law school, pharmacy, nursing, business, accounting, like whatever it is that you're trying to apply to, then please definitely give it your best shot. Like, you know, put God first, have a good team behind you. Like, my team was my family and friends. Like, my mom is always cheerleading me. She always motivates me. Like, I feel like so long as you have that strong support system who can motivate you throughout the way, then you are good to go. Like, that is half the battle. Because when I tell you guys, I was so devastated. Like, I was just like, you know, maybe dentistry is not for me. And like, I changed my whole mindset, mainly because of what this person told me. And I'm like, you know, she only met me for like a month and a half. And for her to like crush my dreams, because like I had to like bring myself up out of this mini depression after she told me that. Like, the program ended in like June or July, I believe. And that whole August, September timeframe, I was like weighing, like, you know, do I want to do this? Do I not want to do this? Like, I was just like all over the place, you know? So I hope to have encouraged somebody, whoever is applying to anything, whether it be applying for a job or applying to school, whatever it is, please just follow through, okay? Like, you're gonna have naysayers throughout the way, but just follow your dreams all the way through. Keep God first and have your strong support system. So that is the end of this video. I hope it motivated somebody, whoever is watching, to go ahead and please follow through with your dreams, because you know, like, the amount of things people will throw at you, if people throw bricks at you, you better use those bricks and make your foundation, build yourself up, okay? Because I was devastated, and by the grace of God, it's only God's grace why I'm here right now. Like I said before, I'm in my 4th year of dental school. I'm graduating in May. So I just want to know, like, what would you guys have done in that situation? Like, would you have said something? You know, like, would you like be more inquisitive? Would you just turn around and be like, you know what, bye dentistry, hello med school, or whatever? I don't know. I don't know. Like, how would you guys have handled that situation? Are you currently applying for a job, or like, are you trying to get into dental school right now? Especially dental students or whoever is interested in applying, please comment down below and let me know. I am definitely trying to reach out and help whoever get into the field of dentistry, because I think it is the best profession ever. So thank you guys for watching.